It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, brought to you by Will Power Chair and Scooter Round on this Tuesday, the 17th day of January 2023. I'm Chillie Falls, coming to you from a kind of rainy Bedford County, Virginia. Been a little damp out there this morning. Headlines today: compensation for a cruise to nowhere. The MSC Meraviglia rescues 24. Carnival Elation to Drydock. San Diego increases shore power. 2023 looks busy for Southampton. And 5 inaugural calls in St. Maarten this month. That and much more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. Today, folks, is National Hot Buttered Rum Day. I haven't had hot buttered rum in a long time. Back in my earlier life, when I was actually skiing, I did have hot buttered rum a number of times when I got back to the ski license, trying to warm up. I liked it then. I'm sure I'd like it now, but I haven't been in a situation to have any for a long time. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the major big hitters: iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, any of them. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat travel guy. Anytime you're listening and want to hop over to the video feed in the description of the podcast, there's a link. Click here, or video feed. And you click there and you hop over to the video feed. Do have a couple things to share with you before we get to the news this morning. Kenneth and Robin were in Grand Turk yesterday. I love Grand Turk. Of course, always something in bloom there, it seems. That's the Margaritaville at Grand Turk. And the dock. Then they went back to Fahrenheit 555 for dinner last night. And that, believe it or not, folks, is a little miniature hamburger. Now, look at the size of this puppy. I mean, it's got just like a regular hamburger. Lettuce, tomato, I don't know what else it had on it. But it's, thumb size. Robin had another filet. I bet you she orders it medium, maybe medium well to well, which is why they butterfly it, unless you just ordered it to be butterflied. Kenneth had surf and turf. I don't blame him. I would be tempted to have surf and turf as well. He also had a risotto. And the cool thing, folks, this is dessert for Kenneth.
Chocolate stick. This is with hot chocolate sauce. You ready, Robin? There you go. There you go, Kenneth. You ready? Right. There is praline mousse and pure jam inside. Enjoy it, please.
Thank you.
I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, that's Kenneth and Robin. They're on, of course, the Carnival Sunrise, and then they went to a show last night. But so far, they've really been enjoying the sunrise. That was the last cruise ship I sailed before the pandemic, and then, of course, my health going to you know where. Until I started back to sailing this past January. So, all right, guys, I'll be back with today's news after a real quick break from one of our network sponsors. The top story today, folks, has to deal with a cruise to nowhere. Remember last week I talked about Carnival Sunshine. Prior to setting sail, the guests had been informed of a change in embarkation time in Charleston and had to adjust their arrival time an hour earlier than originally planned. Remember that story? Well, then the ship set sail, but only had one port of call, Nassau, over the weekend. During the time Carnival Sunshine was to have been docked in Nassau, the Bahamas island was experiencing steady winds at 20 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 40. Rough seas about because of that. These conditions created unstable conditions on the dock, making it unsafe for guests to cross the gangway to get on or off their ship or to walk down the dock into the downtown area. Furthermore, many of the most popular excursions, such as snorkeling or dolphin encounters, would have been impossible in the choppy waters. As a result, the call was canceled, as were calls of numerous other ships scheduled into the Bahamas or Bermuda over the weekend. Now, since this ship did not stop at the port, all shore excursions, as well as taxes and port fees, were automatically refunded to the guest sail and sign accounts. Because the single port cruise has now become a cruise to nowhere without any port visits, Carnival Cruise Line is offering generous compensation to the guests. In addition to the automatic refund of fees, taxes, shore tours, guests are receiving $100 per stateroom of onboard credit, which could be used for drinks, spa treatments, specialty dining, photos, onboard shopping, any of those things. That's not the only compensation, however. This is a quote from the letter that each of the guests received. "We also want you to return to experience the cruise we had intended for you," the letter read. "So we are extending a 50% future cruise credit for you to use towards another Carnival cruise." The letter was signed by the ship's master, Captain Leonardo Contarino. The future cruise credit is based on the fare guests paid for the voyage and is unable to be used for a deposit on a new cruise, but can be applied to additional payments for the fare. The future cruise credit must be redeemed by January 31st, 2024. So you got a year to use it, and can be used for any departure from any home port and on any ship in the Carnival fleet. That's not a bad deal, folks. You pick out another Carnival cruise, doesn't matter the price, whatever, you put your deposit down. Can't use this for the deposit, but it can be applied first time you make a payment. Not bad, because you still had the cruise on the Sunshine, even though there weren't any ports. Carnival did a good job on that one, I think. All right. Yesterday, we talked about a rescue from the Liberty at Seas. At the same time this weekend, about 100 miles to the west, MSC Meraviglia encountered an overloaded refugee boat as the ship was enjoying a day at sea en route to Port Canaveral. The ship had visited Cozumel, and the incident occurred in the Straits of Florida between Cuba and the Sunshine State. Once the small craft was spotted, Meraviglia turned around to offer assistance, sending out one of its lifeboats to make contact with the refugee boat. At the time, the waves were rolling noticeably, but all individuals on the refugee boat were safely transferred to the lifeboat. The rescue took approximately 1 hour. The United States Coast Guard was notified of the encounter and took custody of the refugees once the cruise ship returned to Port Canaveral. An interesting legal question, folks, and I've asked this on situations like this in the past, and I've never gotten a full explanation of it. The Meraviglia goes back to Port Canaveral with the refugees on board, and they're going to get turned over to the Coast Guard. If the Coast Guard marches them off the ship to go from the Meraviglia to their vessel, they would be on U.S. soil. Once they're on U.S. soil, they can then apply for asylum. Is that not correct? The way I understood the laws, so the refugees from Cuba, if they ever step foot on soil, they're safe. I wonder how that works in this situation. Just asking the questions, folks, because I don't know the answer. Oh, well. All right, the Carnival Elation, that's that ship in Jacksonville. I guess after it's, was terribly distraught over Tom Brady's performance last night. The Carnival Elation is going into Drydock when the current 7-day cruise ends this Saturday. The ship will be out of service for the next 3 weeks. This will be the first dry dock for Carnival Elation since the spring of 2020. While the ship is in dry dock, general maintenance will be performed on the vessel. The parts of the ship will be updated and upgraded. This includes areas like carpets and cosmetic enhancements. Be nice if they improve some of the accessibility issues. Just a little hint, Carnival. The cruise ship has gone into dry dock every 3 years since 2000. I didn't realize that's what kind of schedule they try to put these ships on. Interesting little fact that came out of that story today. All right, our friends out in San Diego. Again, this is one of the good stories. The Port of San Diego made history by becoming one of the first ports in California to have 2 cruise ships simultaneously use shore power. Disney Wonder and Insignia from Oceania Cruises were the first 2 cruise vessels to take advantage of this new capability. With the recent addition of a second shore power outlet, the port has now taken a significant leap toward its efforts to reduce emissions. The 2 shore power outlets will result in at least a 90% overall reduction of harmful pollutants such as nitrous oxide and diesel particulate matter while the ships are docked. This expansion was made possible through a $4.6 million investment by the Port of San Diego. Now, for our friends over on the other side of the pond, Port of Southampton had a really successful year in 2022 with a record number of cruise operations. Northern Europe and the UK's biggest embarkation port handled a total of 489 ships, amounting to almost 1.9 million passengers passing through the port between January and December. The port held several plaque exchanges and key ceremonies throughout the year to honor maiden calls from different cruise ships. These included Azamara Onward, Celebrity Beyond, that's Captain Kate, of course, Silver Moon, Norwegian Prima, Aida Perla, Aida Cosma, and Enchanted Princess. These visits prove the vital part of Southampton plays in Europe's industry. In December, the port was also celebrated the arrival of P&L Cruises' newest ship, Arvia, and hosted her naming ceremony on December 21st. As the sister ship to Iona, Arvia will home port in Southampton, one of the few ports in Europe equipped to handle LNG-powered ships. The Port of Southampton is looking ahead to an even more successful 2023 with 492 cruise calls from 292 cruise ships and maiden calls from 7 new cruise ships, including MSC Explorer 1 and Silver Seas Silver Nova. Altogether, the 292 cruise ships are expected to bring well over 2 million passengers to Southampton. This would put Southampton in the top 10 of the biggest cruise ports in the world. And finally this morning, that's probably my third favorite cruise port, third or fourth, St. Maarten, which is a very popular destination for Eastern Caribbean sailings. 5 different ships from 5 different cruise lines made inaugural calls to St. Maarten in the past month. With such great interest in Port St. Maarten, the destination is looking forward to continued growth in 2023. The 5 ships with inaugural calls this month: Azamara Onward, Carnival Celebration, Viking Neptune, Aida Bella, and Celebrity Apex. Congratulations to Southampton. Congratulations to St. Maarten. Congratulations to San Diego. Those are all really awesome stories. All right, let's go over and see who's fussing at me today. In the chat room. Oh, by the way, our friend Nate Villiers from up there in Alaska, he's going to be with us Friday, but he's not going to be in Alaska. Now, he's going to be on a show one day soon up there on the Mendenhall Glacier. We're going to see if we can't do it. We'll go live stream from the Mendenhall Glacier. I haven't worked all the details out on that, but we're working on it. But our friend Nate's going to be down there on the Brightline train in Florida. She's heading down to get on the MSC Divina. So we're going to talk to him from the train. By the way, Nate has become quite an advocate for accessibility on anything, excursions, cruise ships, places of business. So that's awesome. Appreciate all the help we can get, Nate. All right, in the chat room, we got Hot Air Tom. I asked Hot Air Tom this morning if he had packed his loincloth. He's going to Africa. So he's got to put a loincloth on when he tries to get up and swing from the trees like Tarzan going, Cindy, where are you, Cindy? And that'll be Hot Air Tom anytime now. Hi, Kelly. She says, good morning. Glad to have you aboard. Gail Boone is with us again. Hi, Gail. Dennis is here. Hey, Dennis. Dennis, I want you to know this morning I thought about you when I was having my breakfast. We had some fresh sockeye salmon. I think that's pronunciation. Sockeye maybe it is. Sockeye salmon and some everything bagels, some cream cheese and some capers and some little red onion. In this country, we call it lox and bagels, but I know you call it differently over there, but it's the same stuff that you like to eat as well. Of course, always good to have Dennis. Robin Wilkins is with us. Good morning, everyone. Heading off to Half Moon Cay in the Bahamas. Oh, that's our Robin. Katie's with us. She's home today dealing with plumbing issues. Yeah, Katie got home from her little cruise and had a little plumbing issue while she was gone. Après ski. Yeah, that's for me. After skiing, when I got fat and crippled up, it totally, I couldn't get to a ski lift now as much as I'd like to. But back in the day, I did. Believe it or not, folks. I did a lot of traveling skiing too. I've skied in Europe. I've skied all over the Rockies. Of course, I was in Pennsylvania. I've skied up in New York and Vermont. So yeah, once upon a time, I did quite a bit of skiing. Grand Turk has my favorite Caribbean sugar beaches. I like Grand Turk. I've always have. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Hi, Sonny. Butterflied steak when it's overcooked. Yeah, usually they do. I mean, I prefer my fillets to be medium rare. So usually mine aren't butterflied. So that's why I said I bet Robin eats them well done or medium well, which wouldn't be the way I'd eat them. But that's okay. I mean, she's allowed to like that. Sonny says, have fun, Robin, and you too, Kenneth. Robin, I eat my steak well done. Ken eats it medium rare. All right, well, we'll go with Ken on that one, Robin, but I'm not going to fuss at you about it. The repairs on the dock are 80% done in Grand Turks, about 2 more months. Yeah, that was something. And I had not checked on it for a while, so thank you for the report back, Robin. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. The weather is beautiful in Half Moon Cay. I like Half Moon Cay. I did some rolling around Half Moon Cay when I was there last. I wasn't real crazy about getting to shore, but once I got there, it was okay. Katie says, Robin, enjoy your cruise. Kenneth and Robin know what they're doing on a cruise, Katie. They get some good mileage out of it. I'm surprised. I understand Fahrenheit 555 is a good place to eat. I've eaten in Fahrenheit 555 as well. I was surprised that you ate there twice on one cruise rather than one of the other specialty restaurants. But that's like steaks. There's nothing wrong with that. Katie's getting her ducks in a row for my transatlantic in March. Katie, if you need a duck, just let me know. I have ducks all over the place in my house. Actually, I have 2. Yo, Brooklyn in the house. Hey, Eddie, hope you're feeling better, my friend. case anybody doesn't know, Eddie's been in the hospital for a little oil change and a tune-up this week. Hot Air says, hey, Eddie. Hot Air needs some help getting the ducks in order for this Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be a long flight for Hot Air Tom and Cindy. One of several long flights, but that's okay. Everybody's speaking back and forth. Meraviglia. What did I do? Meraviglia. Meraviglia. Thought I did that right that time. Sorry, Dennis. Yeah, I know it's Meraviglia. One of these days, it'll become a part of my tongue. Probably clean the Elation hull. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jacksonville much cares about the hull. Certainly not like they do down in New Zealand. My goodness. It's been up to like 8 ships now that's had to clean their hulls down there on the fly. There's that company down there that I don't know if it's the only company that New Zealand accepts. Man, they got to have had a really good 6 weeks or so cleaning hulls on ships. Wish I had stock in that company. Most Mediterranean beaches don't have fine sand. Some of the same as Key West. Always pack water shoes for those beaches. Yeah, the Bahamas has got nice sand. It really does. Queen Mary and Long Beach is reopened for tours only. As I saw that a little while ago, but tours are all full. Reopening of hotel to come soon. More tours will be added eventually. Wow, I didn't know that they were, they were all full. Huh. Water shoes are packed. Yep. Thank you for the update, Sonny. So pleased she was rescued. Hope the brunch buffet reopens too. Dennis, I want to stay in the hotel for a weekend and explore. Ooh, that's a thought. Sockeye. Did I say it wrong? Anyway, smoked salmon. Yeah. It was smoked salmon. Smoked salmon, everyone, but most locks served as actually just smoked salmon. Yeah. That's locks that the Pope blesses, or I guess it's a rabbi, whatever. My Jew, and I'm not making fun of religions, folks. Please don't take me down that road. But whatever a person does to make it kosher, because lox is normally kosher. But I thought it was always still salmon, smoked salmon. I could be wrong on that one. Colorado powder is the best sealing from around the globe. Due to global warming, skin on the continent doesn't compare. Back when I did it, Dennis, back when I was skiing, that was in the 70s, I actually liked skiing in Switzerland better than I like skiing in the Rockies. But now that was, 40 years ago. 50 years ago. Damn, I'm getting old. Yeah, that would have been in 70s to early and maybe to the late 70s to mid 80s when I was really doing a lot of skiing. And yeah, some of the best skiing I ever did was in Zinzerheidel, Switzerland. That was lovely. But yeah, back then, I thought the European skiing was better than the Rockies. I have heard now that it's flipped, that our skiing is better than over there. Of course, a lot of the places in Europe are not even open this year. So, Buddy's with us. Hi, Buddy. Good to have you. Sonny booked the Queen Mary when the brunch buffet returns. Joni Shields is with us. Hi, Joni. Good to see you. Cruise in a week. Hot Air Tom, how long is your trip there? Ultrasound this evening, maybe another right leg surgery Friday. We'll see. Vloggers can't get here fast enough. I got you, Eddie. I hope you don't have to have another surgery and then go on a cruise in a week's time. That could be a little rough. But anyway, thinking about you, my friend. I'm really looking forward to the 29th. So this old fat guy will find you somewhere on that boat. So you said, oh, okay, my bad. Meraviglia. Oh, yeah. And I'm trying to go on that sucker again, too. We depart Dulles at 8:15 p.m. Saturday and eventually arrive in Cape Town 11:15 a.m. Monday. Whew, long time. Layover in Doha, Qatar for a little over 8 hours. That's so you can go out and belly dance or whatever they do in Qatar. A dirty hull can affect the speed and resistance, fuel economy. Yeah, if they're that bad, yeah. But some of these ships that, from the information I get from over there, some of the ships that New Zealand wouldn't allow in were not that bad. Some were, but some were not. Yeah, they did have some. They had not been cleaned recently. Sonny says, well, Tom, that's quite a journey. You know, folks, this quite a journey that's coming up. Maybe that's why Cindy has told Hot Air, I ain't doing this in 2025. Talk to the fat man. And he did. We have lay flat seats on both flights, so should be very comfortable, plus book the first class lounge in Doha. Very nice. That'll make it a little bit better. Eddie says, can I carry your bags, Hot Air Tom? Cruise lines need to jump on that excursion. Yes, indeed. Studios, they have to be heavy. We have up to 70 pounds allowed. Thanks, recovery is pretty quick. just the arthritis is the havoc on my body. I wish mine was just arthritis. I mean, no, I'm not saying that in any way to lessen what you're going through, Eddie, at all. But yeah, I wish that was all that I had wrong with me. Oh, God. You and Cindy do know how to travel in style. I'm the one that travels back in steerage with the chickens. Yes, Sonny, I'm well aware of that. I've been known to travel that way many times. So, and actually, on the cruise next week, on Norwegian Breakaway with all the fancy content creators that are going to be there, I'm in an inside cabin. It was an expensive enough cruise that I went that way. So, no blessing, Dennis says, is a different type of curing. And there's a belly locks. I did not know that. Hot Air says, good plan, Eddie. Lugo Studios took me a few minutes to figure out the vlogger comment. I thought you had vloggers coming to video your search. Now, he's going to be on the vloggers cruise, the same one that I'm on, from Nolans. That Dennis has been fussing at me to make sure I have my meals all lined up before I get there, which I've done a pretty good job. Amy's with us. Hi, Amy. I think I may be late to the live stream. Well, that's okay. We've had some new people join us today, which I just want to thank all of you. I hope you guys have stayed around all the way through. But yeah, it was welcome to the new people. The New Zealand situation was invasive species. Gail says, hope the offers get better for solo cruisers around here. And Gail, so do I. This one was okay. It's not what I want to see eventually, but we got to crawl before we walk. And I definitely think it's going to get a lot better. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm holding a lot of my schedule in 2024 completely open because I hope that this is going to come up to doing, 6 or 8 solo cruises a year here from the U.S. That's my hopes, and that they'll all be in the, really outstanding range and pricing. So understand what you're saying, Gail. Don't have to say anything more. I know exactly what you mean. Dennis says, consider anti-inflammatory foods too. Yes. Eddie says, working on it. Now we know how all those chickens go to the Hawaiian Islands. Sonny took them from steerage and left them loose. Yeah, what about the chickens in Key West? That's where I found more chicken. Well, I found chickens a lot of places. Key West got chickens everywhere. Can we blame Sonny for that one too? Actually, those were from back in the days where cockfighting was, it was illegal, but it was done. And the chickens there, when they broke up the cockfighting rings, the chickens and the roosters were all released. And they were given free home in Key West forever. Did you finish planning your meal itinerary for no? Pretty much, Dennis. Yeah, I have uh, one dinner yet to plan, and I'm still because I'm waiting to see what my situation is going to be transportation wise. But yeah, I've got a pretty good plan laid out for what I want to do. So Dennis has every meal planned when he goes to New Orleans. I avoid the new cuisine restaurants. I prefer the classic restaurants. Well, I do too, Dennis, but also you got to keep in mind that I'm still quite a budget traveler. So some of the more expensive restaurants that I'd love to go to, I might necessarily not go there because of budgetary constraints. But anyway, yeah, I still look for some bargains along the way. Not necessarily bargains, because I do enjoy fine dining and good meals. So, yeah. And most all of your recommendations I am taking. Well, there was just a big jump of yes. Saturday evening before the cruise, we are going to Drydock with a bunch of loggers, beignets and chicory au lait every morning at Cafe du Monde at the French Market. I am planning on several visits to the cafe. One big difference between Key West and Hawaii, you can catch and eat the Hawaiian chickens. I was going to open a Chick-fil-A in Kailua with the free inventory. Only Hot Air Tom would come up with that one. Are non-vloggers allowed at Dragos? Chillie, I hope you go with others to Willie Mays. Scott, yes. Well, it depends. I mean, I'm not opposed to, getting an Uber, and I've got to see how Ubers work price-wise in New Orleans. It's different in every city. I have no problem with going on an Uber. So, and then also if it's before the cruise, while I do have a walker, I also am going to have a scooter. So there's a couple things I've got to play by ear once I get there. So, but I have a schedule laid out. So, Hot Air says Chillie Cruises, watch out for the Nall and slushies. They were potent. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm probably going to order my bourbon. At most of the places, I might still have if the place has good pina coladas or something like that, I might have one. I do a few little odd things here and there, like the Brandy Alexanders, which I've become to enjoy. I enjoyed a chocolate martini when I was with Cindy. Yeah, but for the most part, especially if I'm out on a scooter, I'm going to stick to what I know I can handle and not get myself in trouble. But yeah, I know that New Orleans can be difficult. Mothers for Lunch is very affordable. Yeah, I pulled it up. I've taken a look at the menu. I like Daisy Dukes in New Orleans. Good gator po' boy. Daisy Dukes. I don't think I've ever been to Daisy Dukes. Several trips down there. Pat O'Brien's is my favorite hangout. I always go to Pat O'Brien's at least once every trip. Always. And ate dinner at the Gumbo Shop. Was very good. It was a few years ago. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Gumbo Shop either. Half luggage will travel. How we cruise. Huddle advertising, me and Alice. Cruise nuts. Clock. Fam. Advertising. And a few more. Oh, I see you're naming off some folks. I got you. And popped by Central Grocery after Cafe Du Monde for the muffaletta to keep in the room. I've got that one. I got a note written on that one, and with it spelled out, so because I won't remember what it's called. I got it in my phone. Split one with your cruise fins. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Daisy Dukes is the next block from your Holiday Inn Club vacation resort. Oh, okay, that's nice. And a reminder to check the weather before finishing packing. Yeah, because it can be this time of year, a little dicey down there. So, and it can be, a little dicey in the first part of the cruise. Then once we get to on into the cruise, it's should be warming up. Never go to NOLA during the summer. Swarm pass weather. I was on a cruise out of New Orleans one summer, and matter of fact, it was just before Katrina hit New Orleans. The previous hurricane, which was 16 days before Katrina hit. Matter of fact, I think that was Hurricane Dennis, come to think about it. And I got stuck out in the sailing around in the Caribbean in the Gulf of Mexico for 3 days for the hurricane to get on through and things to get opened back up, because a lot of New Orleans was flooded with that. And then Katrina came in and everything was still waterlogged. And we know what happened from Katrina. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, for more of the silliness. Again, folks, if you are one of the new folks to join us today, I hope you'll feel free to come back. Glad you popped in the chat room. If you have not done so, we always appreciate thumbs up. That helps the channel out. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when a new video is posted. And again, we do this 5 days a week, and then more on weekends if anything major happens. But every day at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, it's Travel and Cruise Industry News. So please consider coming back and joining us again. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. For now, this is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.